Authoritarianism doesn't always come with a dictator or a coup. Sometimes it grows quietly inside democracy itself. It begins when fear outweighs trust, when leaders discover that anger wins more votes than ideas, and when citizens trade truth for comfort. The seed of authoritarianism in America aren't new. They've been here since the beginning. The founders of this country created a democracy that promised liberty but built it on contradictions. Freedom for some, slavery for others, equality on paper, inequality in practice. Every time power has been challenged, from abolition to civil rights, there have been those who claimed that giving others equality would destroy America. That fear of change, that instinct to control who belongs and who doesn't, is the root of every authoritarian impulse we've ever faced. After the Civil War, when formerly enslaved people began to vote and hold office, white supremacists in the South launched a campaign of terror to take that power back. They didn't call it dictatorship, they called it law and order. They used violence, propaganda, and voter suppression to preserve white rule. That's not ancient history. It's a blueprint that keeps resurfacing. In the 1950s and 60s, as the civil rights movement demanded equality, politicians again used fear to divide the nation. They talked about states' rights, silent majorities, and law and order as if freedom itself were a threat. Richard Nixon's Southern strategy and George Wallace's segregationist campaigns weaponized fear of progress to win elections. They learned that authoritarian control doesn't always need a general. It can wear a flag pin and smile on television. Today, those same seeds are sprouting again. When leaders claim that only they can protect the nation from its own citizens, immigrants, minorities, journalists, or political opponents, they are echoing that same old script. They frame compassion as weakness, diversity as danger, and accountability as betrayal. And when citizens believe that, democracy begins to hollow out from the inside. The founders warned about this. James Madison wrote that the accumulation of all powers in the same hands may justly be pronounced the very definition of tyranny. The framers didn't design our system around perfection. They designed it around prevention. Checks and balances were meant to slow down anyone who claimed to speak for the real people against everyone else. Authoritarianism always starts with that phrase, the real people, because once you define who's real, you've already decided who isn't. And from there, it's a short walk to exclusion, censorship, and violence. In recent years, we've seen new tactics, gerrymandered districts, voter ID laws, targeting minorities, and disinformation campaigns that tell Americans not to trust their own elections. These aren't separate problems. They're symptoms of the same disease, the hunger for control over democracy itself. But the answer to authoritarianism isn't despair, it's participation. Democracy dies when citizens disengage, and it revives when they get involved. Every time people vote, volunteer, and speak truth to power, they pull those roots of authoritarianism out of the soil. The fight for democracy has always been a fight against fear. Fear of losing status, fear of diversity, fear of truth. The more we understand that, the harder it becomes for anyone to divide us. America's story has never been perfect, but it's always been capable of renewal. The seeds of authoritarianism will always exist, but so will the seeds of resistance. It's up to us which ones we water.